Kia ora, good morning. Sorry, I just woke up, so I'm having my coffee and then I'm going to stuff my face with my breakfast because I'm starving to pieces. Something happened last night after I made that video and I wasn't going to say anything, but I thought I need to say something, but I was trying to figure out how I was going to present it. And here it is. So if I go quiet, it's just because I'm having a sip of my coffee. Coffee. Remember I was talking about the man robot? His name was Frankie. Frank. People called me Frankie. But he loved coffee. His coffee and his robots. So anyway, and his horses. Going down to the bookies and putting bets on the horses. So when I say coffee and robots, Frankie. Frank. Anyway, this is kind of pertinent actually. So I made that video. And I said to you, I just bumped, like I saw someone standing there. I turned into the bathroom to go into my bedroom and someone was standing there and they had short hair and I could see their shoulders, their head. It was sort of like from the waist up, they were a solid object. And I wasn't expecting them to be there and I almost smacked into them and very nearly said, "Oh, sorry," to get out of their way. But then in that split moment of realising that what I was seeing wasn't normal, which is why it's called paranormal. The paranormal is an existence that runs alongside the normal. Because para either means two or side by side, like parallel. So paranormal means when you're living an experience in life that is outside of the normal but concurrent to the normal. That's what paranormal means. So technically, that would be called a paranormal experience because we experience these things all the time. But we misunderstand where a lot of this stuff is coming from because technically what I experienced was supernatural, and I'll tell you why. Because at the time I bumped into that man standing in my doorway in my bedroom, and then I turned my video on and you saw all those lights, and I said to you, the golden light, it means that someone's thinking about me. When you see the golden lights, it means someone is either thinking about you or dreaming about you. And you're seeing their thought bubbles, right? Because orbs are basically thought bubbles that manifest, that are visible to the camera, through the lens of a camera. They're visible when you bring second sight into it, or double vision, that are the consciousness trapped inside the atomic frequency and the ion particles of the atmosphere, and you're seeing them. You don't usually see orbs with the naked eye. You have to use double vision, like cameras and things like that, equipment to do it. But when you see an orb, sometimes they can have photos or images of people in them, and that's the person who is thinking of you, and they are the white orbs. If you can get a good enough shot of the orb, you will often see photos or images, and people say, "That's my grandmother," and then they'll produce a photo of a grandmother in the 1940s or something, and it's like the perfect image of what's inside the orb. That means that Granny's died, she's become somebody else, she's having a dream, and while she's asleep or daydreaming or in the creation frequency zone, if she's a high funk or something, she's thinking about you, even though she doesn't know you in her new life, but she'll be connected to you through love, through genetic memory, through all of that, and she's appearing in front of you as an orb. But when it's white, it means that the person is no longer living in your lifetime. They could have gone on to be 10 different people by that point, but in the creation frequency, in the God particle, in the particle that holds the consciousness of time and memory and evolution and creation, they know exactly who you are and remember you, which is why I keep saying death is only biological. It's only our physical body that dies, but the memory and the love of who we are is imprinted in the atmosphere forever. And love is one of the highest frequencies there is, remember? So just because they've died, it doesn't mean they forget who you are, even if they go on to live to be like 5 or 6 different people in your lifetime, which would be sad because it means they lived short lives. But anyway, it means that the second that they go to sleep, that they start daydreaming, that they like unconscious during anesthetic, or, you know, they're in the zone, painting, sewing, cooking, you know, when you zone out, it means that they've come straight to you and you've picked up on it. So that's the white orbs, but the golden orbs, the gold orbs, it's why I call the creation frequency the gold frequency, because the God particle is gold, it's golden. And it means that the person who's thinking about you is very much alive and you've picked up on it. You can see it. Now, what happened was, after I posted that video and explained all of this, someone's thinking about me. Did they turn up in my room? I don't. Are they asleep? Are they? I don't know. But you know, gold particles. It means somebody's thinking about me, and I'm picking up on it, right? So then I uploaded the video, which took a few minutes, and then I posted it, and then I went in to check on a friend of mine. Now this friend of mine is going through an ascension, and when I met them, the first go around, things got messed up. Things got really, really messed up. And we parted contact. We stopped being friends. Though the love and respect and admiration we had for each other was 100% still there. But we were put in an impossible situation where it was going to look like we were never, ever, 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 ever going to be able to make contact again, because there were people in his life hell-bent on making sure that he didn't know I was trying to reach out. There were people in his life hell-bent on making sure that when I did reach out, the connection between the two of us would be so messed up and confusing that I would receive, let's just say, mixed signals, mixed frequencies. But I had people in my life as well making sure that when he tried to reach out, I saw him as a threat. Even though I knew what was happening between the two of us was being sabotaged, that our friendship, that our connection was being sabotaged. I knew we were being sabotaged. I knew that we had people on both sides who were watching what we were doing and hell-bent on making sure that him and I never connected, because it's almost like people knew that the second him and I connected, we were going to sew up the fabric of time where there'd been splits and tears in the fabric in time, that when we were able to connect and sew the thread up, you know, through the thread of our connection, sewing up the tear that had been torn through the fabric of time, because time can be torn, timelines can be ripped and torn just like fabric. When we sewed it up and healed the split, we were going to create pure magic together. Real magic, like mind-blowing, supernatural, can't deny it, from a scientific perspective, magic. And that should him and I join forces, we would change the world. We would save children, we would change the world, we would blow people's minds apart with what him and I created together. If he was the magician, I'm the wand. And the magic that we create as a result of that wand was going to change people's lives forever, and it's like they knew. Now, after I uploaded that video, I went to check on him because he's going through stuff at the moment. He's going through an ascension. I realised a few months ago he's going through an ascension, and you know that emotional roller coaster up and down roller coaster ride thing. So I've just been walking alongside him, making sure he's okay, because I understand what he's going through. So I'm not judging him, but I can't interfere, but I can, but I can't. So I've just been walking alongside him, holding his hand, sometimes invisibly, most times invisibly, but sometimes not, because he's going through an ascension. And what happened was, a few weeks ago, I realised, because you know how I keep saying that when you go through an ascension and you get to the ether stage, which is where your ancestors are, you know, that's where you start being introduced to spirit, to the spiritual realms, to the realms of your deceased loved ones, your ancestors, your genetic connections. You know, you want to learn about your family history and your family gods, and you know who your people were and where you came from, and that's the ether stage. But it's also where you start learning to develop your supernatural powers. And God says, when you have an ascension and you master your virtues and you add hope and faith to it, you start to develop supernatural powers. Right now, mine's time jumping. And he did something a few weeks ago, and I said to him, your gift is teleportation. He can teleport. I don't know whether it's only that he can teleport with me or whether he can do it with other people yet, but it's like, I've been scientifically documenting. I don't know if he... Well, I mean, I said to him straight out, I'm not going to delete this. I need to document it, and I have, because I said this is important for my science as a scientist. Because what he's done is he's proven my ascension science theory and quantum magnetics right. I can take what I've been witnessing in him, though I will keep him anonymous, into court now and say he's doing the same thing. And look what you've just seen him do. Look at, like, it's time stamped. We've had witnesses to the conversation. All of it has proven that my work in the ascension sciences and quantum magnetics, time theory, 100% correct. And last night was like the final, not nail to the coffin, that like the cherry on top of my time theory thesis. Because after I loaded that video, I went to him to see if he was okay, because he had like a big event happen in his life yesterday. And he had put 2 posts up where he's talking about him and I in the universe, and then him and I as ghosts in white sheets under the phases of the moon. And what was I saying in my video? Draw the Moon King down. Moon King, Moon King. Remember I was saying, draw the Moon King down. He was literally posting a post of him and I as ghosts under the moon at the time that I was saying, bring the Moon King down. So he was the one that was standing in my bedroom, which proves his gift is teleportation. I just don't know if it's only with me or not. I'm going to have to keep studying him. But I can take it to a court now and say, oh, you locked me up because you thought I was crazy, when in actual fact, you have no clue. You tried to torture me because you don't know how the human mind works. You don't know how the human brain works in conjunction with the conscious and subconscious mind. And because you're idiots and uneducated and closed-minded and have no faith in physics or God, you tried to kill me for it. And it's not just me. Look at the evidence. Look what he did. Because he's going through an ascension. Because when he met me, I changed his life. Because when he met me, I saved his life. He said to me, I keep him alive. And I've brought something out of him that is just pure magic, because I saw it from the beginning. I saw in him what he didn't see in himself. And I, just by me helping him understand who he was and what he was going through, my God, you should see him. He's changing. I'm watching him change. And it's just, I can't even describe it as beautiful, because it's just pure magic. Just watching him is pure magic. And it's like, the faster he ascends, the more innocent he's starting to look. He's looking younger. And when I see him, I see like a little cherub. I see like this little angel boy coming out of him, because his innocence is starting to come out. His purity is starting to come out of him. He's releasing things that were, that were keeping him trapped and confined. And it's like he's chipping the walls and bricks down. And he's stepping out of the confinement of the darkness that was his own mind, holding on to pain, betrayal, heartbreak, that sort of thing, in the underworld basically. But he'd been in the underworld for years. And when I came along and started showing him the light, he started breaking down the walls in order to have access to it. And the second he got access to it, man, oh God, I'm getting emotional. He just grew these wings and started soaring. And I'm so proud of him. There's a part of me that keeps thinking, I did that. Because it's just beautiful to watch, man. But we have so much love and respect for each other, that we have this mind melding ability. I talk about mind melding. When you love the person, your minds meld. But when you know the person, it's telepathy. But mind melding is like an extreme supernatural force of telepathy. But it's only done with people that you have an emotional attachment to. Because you become two people in one heart, two people in one soul. Your souls join together in a way where your frequencies, including thoughts and feelings, and that just bounce off each other. And I've been pushing him hard. Like every time I've had to, like smack it. No, bad little ascending boy. No, correct that behaviour. And he has been correcting the behaviour. And every time I've had to say, no, you can't do that, that's unacceptable, he's taken it. And he takes it on board, and he's not held on to it, because he knows that I know how special he is. He knows that I can see what a gift he is to the world, and that in my correcting his behaviour, I'm simply his drill sergeant. And I always say I'm a drill sergeant to the universe. I don't let people have access to the creation frequency until they've earned the right, because you have to have a pure soul. You have to do everything with a pure heart in order to access the realms of the supernatural. Otherwise, you can become dangerous. You can be a threat to the world. And this person's gift is so special and so beautiful that in the wrong mindset, what he was doing would hurt the people around him. And I can't have that. So I've been his drill sergeant. and I've been, you know, pulling him up by his bootstraps and getting him to knuckle down and do the work. You know, just like when you join the army, when you join the military, you know, they teach you discipline, they teach you structure, they teach you about, you know, honour and integrity and all that sort of thing. And that's what he's been doing. He's been doing the training. He hasn't held it against me when I've had to step in, even though on the earth plane it would look like he was a superior force. He knows that in the eyes of God, in the eyes of his ancestors, I outrank him by a factor of like a gajillion to one, just like I outrank the king and Vladimir Putin. On the earth planes, they're a king and a president, but in the God realms, in the ancestral realms, and that everybody knows that I outrank them to a factor of like 1,000. They will never have more protection on this earth than me. And I'm sitting here in donated pajamas, and they're billionaires on the earth realms. But up there, if they ran to God and said, Debbie's done blah, 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 God would say, well, you deserved it then. Karma, lightning strike. So anyway, he's proven my science right, and I'm not going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the description box of what he posted at the time I made those videos and made that video and was uploading it. He couldn't have known at the time, unless he was watching my camera, he couldn't have known at that time what I was recording and uploading. It scientifically impossible unless he was seeing through the lens of my camera, like physically. I'm going to post them, but I've cut the name out so you don't know who he is, because until I get justice, until we get justice, I need to protect him and keep him safe, because like I said, there are people that are going out of their way to make sure that him and I don't connect, because they know that when we do, we're going to change the world forever and save a lot of children's lives and do a lot of good with what it is that we create. So I'll put the link in and you'll see the two posts that he put up at the time. I was saying I bumped into someone in my room, gold particles, someone's thinking about me, draw down the Moon King, blah, blah, blah. So what it's done is, with the Quantum Menace, and I was making my coffee and deciding that, you know, the mystic in the Matrix, he's the mystic in the Matrix. But the mystic in the Matrix was originally written for my best friend, my ex-best friend, who works with computers. And, you know, because like I wanted to write about, originally a lot of the Mutant Legion were based on my students. But of course, when I realised that they were all the Shadow Folk and the Quantum Menace, that they were the people that the Quantum Menace was chasing after, and that, I made them the doppelganger characters, and started realising that the characters that I had originally based on some of my students, like Michelle and that, she was Belladonna, were people that I was about to meet after I got locked up. I just hadn't met them in real life at the time. I'd written them into the comic books. So then it all started making sense as to who these people were after I met them. And I had changed Mystic in the Matrix a couple of times, but it never sat right. He lives in the Amazonian jungle. Olivia met him through Venpai, the mathematician, who's based on a friend of mine, Poa, and whose son, Mason, no, is it Mason? Chase. Her son Chase is one of my characters called the Chaser. He runs so fast he can rewind or fast forward time. So when I was making my coffee, I thought, my friend, he's the mystic in the Matrix. He's like, but the mystic in the Matrix, she goes to him in the Amazonian jungle because he helps her decipher the codes to figure out who the shadow folk are. But I'm no longer going to call him the mystic in the Matrix. I'm going to call him Doc. His name's Doc. And instead of helping her decipher the codes, he's going to help place codes. What he sees, he places inside, the art and the music and the literature and that. Because remember, she owns a music store and a bookstore, a music store and an art gallery. And so, and when she reads, well, it's he now, Ben, when he looks at the paintings, remember I was saying about George with the postcard, and he flips it over and reads the postcard, and then he's right there by George's bedside. When he looks at paintings, when he hears music, when he reads the books and stuff like that, he's able to read the minds of the people who created them, and he's able to time jump. It's like he does hopscotch on the codes through how I was saying it's like Morse code. He jumps on the stepping stones in between the AC/DC current that fluctuates through the ion particles of Earth's atmosphere that helps him time travel. It pulls him to the time that he needs to be at in order to save the writer or the artist or the musician or the scientist or the whoever, right? Well, the mystic in the Matrix was originally a guy that worked with computers who was able to help her decipher those codes to figure out who the shadow folk were to lead her to Heracles and Art Morda and the Douglas Arden, right? So I'm rewriting it, I'm tearing all that down, and he's no longer called Mystic in the Matrix, he's called Doc. And he doesn't help her read the codes. He, like a Morse code operator, he feeds her the codes. Doc feeds Ben the codes. In my heart, she's Olivia, but in order to make Quantum Menace 1, 2, and 3, he needs to be a guy. When I changed him from Olivia to Ben, and his name Ben might change, it's one of my favourite. No, I love the name Benjamin, because of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, but his name might change. It's just that when I changed his name, because I needed to work on an action movie. I needed to create an action movie, and I went to my nephew because I couldn't go to my nephews. And we started coming. I said to him, look, I've got this idea for an action movie because he loves action, like he loves action movies. He's got a man cave that looks like Blockbuster, and it's all videos. And he's got video recorders and, actual videotapes. And he's helped me he started helping me come up with this idea. And I said to him, that sounds like the Quantum Menace. It sounds like what we're creating is the Quantum Menace. So I said, the only way this is going to work is if I change Olivia to a dude and make it the prequel to the Quantum Menace Battle of Two Worlds. And the Quantum Menace Battle of Two Worlds helps the Quantum Menace and the Mutant Legion figure out who Heracles is in the Quantum Menace 3, the conception of Heracles. And he teleports. I'm going to make Doc a mutant who teleports. He feeds her the codes, and he's the time jumping detective with George and Fraser. Fraser is modelled after my friend. When I realised he could teleport, I wrote him in as a character, a sidekick to the time jumping detective. because he can teleport. And remember I said Fraser's character teleports. I wasn't sure if I was going to make him like disabled as to why he could teleport, but now that he's proven to me that I am right in my theory and he can actually teleport, he's starting to show signs of it, that he can mind meld with me and use it to teleport. It's almost like I draw him to me and he appears because he wants to be near me. When he's thinking of me and I'm thinking of him, I pull him towards me and he doesn't stop it because he wants to be pulled towards me. We pull each other together like two magnets coming together because our connection's that strong, our minds are connected that strong that we pull one to the other. So I've been able to prove that I already saw him coming through various things that I've documented and recorded, from years before I met him, sometimes almost a decade before I met him. Because I'm the time jumper and I saw him coming, but now that he knows that, he's chilled out and relaxed because he knows how strong our connection is, that he's just letting himself be pulled towards me, and it's created teleportation. He was physically there. He was physically standing there. I could describe his black silhouette perfectly, how tall he was. Remember I said he had short hair? He was standing, he physically teleported just like in Star Trek. I saw him right there, to the point where I almost smacked into him and apologised for smacking into him. And then it wasn't until my brain realised, whoa, hang on a minute, this isn't normal, that I thought, whoa. And then that's when I thought, just turn your phone on and hit record, because you might be about to pick up on something. And boof, bam, boom, there he was, posting at the same time as a ghost standing under the moon inside the universe. Which means he's joined my slipstream. We are travelling through time and space together, side by side, like birds of a feather. Birds of a feather. You know how geese swim. You know how geese fly together in formation, or like mermation. You know how birds do that mermation. That's him and I. Pretty freaky, eh? But that's why I love the supernatural. It's like, why do you want to live chasing after the paranormal when you can just have an ascension and live the supernatural? Because it's so freaking cool. You get to live inside bloody Star Trek and all that, man. Oh, yeah. It's like, just do the work and have an ascension and just trust your master maker, because that's the thing, is that He's taught me how to master patience, because my God, trust me when I tell you, I've had to really dig deep and have patience with this one. But because I understand what he's going through, I haven't let it get to me. I'm an ascension scientist. I'm the ascended master. I understand the process. He's the only person who has ever done the work and not held it against me when I've had to smack them on the wrist or roll up the newspaper and go, no. He hasn't held it against me to the point where he's tried to ruin my reputation, sabotage my career, break up my relationship, steal my work, steal my identity, try and kill me a few times, slander my name, all that sort of thing. He's the only one who's done the work. He's the only person in the entire world who's done the work, and now his supernatural powers are starting to come through. And I keep saying, everyone's gifts are different. I will be the only time jumper in the world other than my boys, because it's genetic memory. So it's imprinted in them, and they are time jumpers. They are time jumpers. It's just they've chosen not to be part of the Mutant Legion. It's not cool for them anymore to be a real life superhero. They got pulled down by the shadow folk. They've been held back by the shadow folk. But I just keep hoping and praying that when I get justice, they'll see the truth for what it is and then be proud to be real life superheroes, because that's what people need to understand. The Quantum Menace Mutant Legion are a group of people in real life who have been chosen by their ancestors and God to have the kind of powers that are going to save lives around the world through what it is I'm creating. It's like, imagine a coat, or imagine a pattern, and it's for a patchwork coat that's going to keep every person that wears it warm and safe for the rest of their life. But in order to make that coat, it has to be made up of different kinds of fabric. But when those different kinds of fabric come together and are sewn together, they become a strong bonded unit that when the person or the child puts that coat on, they will never have addictions, they will never have depression, they'll never have mental illness, they'll never be unhappy. They will be guided and warm and protected and safe for the rest of their life. And they too, like the coat of many colours. Joseph and his amazing Technicolor dream coat, just think of that. But all the different fabrics are the Mutant Legion. And the Quantum Menace jumps through time to find them all and save them all and draw them to him so that they can come together to keep the streets safe, i.e. the children. Because they're the next generation. And we're dealing with people like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Larry Ellison and Bill Gates and Donald Trump and Keir Starmer and people like that who are hell-bent, and von der Leyen, who are hell-bent on making sure that most of these kids don't even get to make it to their teenage years because they want to kill them off. They want to control who has babies, how they have them, if they're boys or girls. But with enough of us together, we can take all of them down and hold them accountable for what they're doing. And we are doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's just taking me longer because I'm on my own. But see, once I get to where I'm supposed to be going, South Dakota or wherever, once I actually get there, the second I find out I've won my court case and it's over, and Chris and Martin and Musk and that are going to be held accountable for what they did to me and my boys, that's when all of them get sucked into the abyss. They all start losing their businesses, their reputations, their money. They all start getting prosecuted. They all start getting done for crimes against humanity, war crimes, genocide, go to The Hague, get death penalties, get life sentences, that sort of thing. So it is coming and it is starting to happen. There's signs of it already happening, but I need to clear the path first in order to build my foundation. And once my foundation is built, that's it. That's the end of the New World Order. They've lost. They don't want the Mutant Legion coming together because they know that when the Mutant Legion come together, we've got real supernatural powers. We've got real supernatural abilities that aren't in their bullshit Freemason, Illuminati, New World Order, fake occult, messed in the head alien invasion bollocks. Because it's all an illusion. It's all fake. They have no real powers. It's all an illusion. The same way that they hide the rabbit in the hat under a fake bottom, it's all that. Whereas I and people like my friend can just teleport the rabbit. We can pull the rabbit from the past and bring it through in the future, where it's undeniable that that rabbit in the present was a rabbit from 100 years ago that's going to do something big in the future, because I pulled the future and the past together to exist in the present. Kind of magic, like real. The supernatural is real. And that's what I've been saying from day one. The supernatural is real, and I'm going to prove it to you. And when those doctors said, you know, blah, 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 I was like, I'll show you. I'll bloody show you all, you bastards. Rolled my sleeves up. Kaboom, 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 kaboom. Magic, 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 magic. And it can't be, all the stuff that I've done cannot be denied in a court of law. And it certainly can't be denied in the court of public opinion. And that's when I told PC Ray, I said, until I get justice in the court, I'm going to get justice in the court of public opinion. Just watch me. PC Ray was the cop that, on the video I recorded at West Yorkshire Police Station when they tried to arrest me for something that had nothing to do with me whatsoever, PC Ray was the cop that got thrown under the bus by his friend PC Wright. It's all on camera. It's on my YouTube. She lied and threw him under the bus to protect herself from lying under oath. And I defended him. I stuck up for him. And you can hear the conversation, because she didn't know I was recording the conversation until I uploaded it. And now the West Yorkshire Police are under investigation for money laundering and fraud. 3 cops lied under oath, as well as the lawyer they sent to sit with me while I was being questioned for something that didn't even have anything to do with me. And I stood up to protect the reputation of one police officer, because they threw him under the bus that day. And their cameras will have it all on camera. The lawyer, PC Wright, the goon that she brought with her, they all threw PC Ray under the bus, Nicholas Ray. Threw him under the bus. So I defended him, because even though they've tried to kill me, they've tried to do all sorts to me, I do what's right. So, yeah, so anyway, people know I'm telling the truth now. My story's getting out. I'm getting retweeted. I'm getting shared. I'm really heavily shadow banned, but every now and then there'll be a glitch in the app and I'll see my real viewing numbers. I'll see that things have been reposted. I'll see that people have messaged me, but it won't let me see the message and that sort of thing. So I know it's there, and I know that my reputation is spreading. And people have started realising not only does she know the truth, she's telling the truth, and the stuff that she's saying is helping us fight the system. You know, when I've had to do my own investigations, I'm the reason why people are now not paying their council tax. I'm the reason why people are going, like doing class action lawsuits against people in the Trump administration and stuff like that, because I've been handing them the information through the matrix. So it's getting out there, so it's only a matter of time before I get justice, and then I'll get my hundreds of millions of money, and then I can apply for my visa. I just can't go to America until Trump and Musk and that are gone. But if I'm getting justice, it means they are being removed. Unless I'm not meant to go to America, I still might be meant to go to Europe. However, this is what I was thinking yesterday as well, and I forgot to mention it. Do you remember the dream I had where I said, where my mum was driving in the car and then Jesus took the wheel? And remember I said, Italy, like, is he taking me to Italy? Is the person I'm going to have some sort of connection to Italy? My opera. Jesus was taking me to my opera. So I'm thinking, I won't make her French, I'll make her Italian. Because I tell you what, because of my friend, I've fallen in love with this composer called Rossini. I couldn't get enough of listening to him yesterday. I love him. He's probably now my favourite composer. Giochino, Giacchino, Gio, I can't pronounce his name. Giacchino Rossini. So Jesus was taking me to my opera. So she's not going to be French, she's going to be Italian, which actually makes more sense for when her father goes to have the meeting with the Legion of Kings. If they're from like Hungary and Russia and all that, they're closer. Austrian, so yeah. So she's not French, she's Italian. I don't know if I have Italian in me, but that doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with it. So yeah. So I was like, well, maybe I don't know, Switzerland or America. Switzerland's bringing in that EID thing though, and I'm not sure about it. Switzerland looks like it's starting to be bought out by the autocrats, and that the judges can be persuaded to go against the will of the people, and that makes me nervous because if there's any shit that goes down with those kids that have come from other parts of the world, I need to know that the judges have got the kids and my foundation's back, and that if someone like Donald Trump or Elon Musk or Peter Thiel slipped them 300,000 francs or 30,000 francs and said, oh, find them guilty or put them on medication or take them away from the school or whatever, I need to know that the judges would say, that's bribery, hammer, slam the hammer down, throw them in jail, and not, yeah, okay then. And then the cops turn up and take one of these kids out of my hands because, I have to do what's right for the children. I need to go where I know the children are going to be safe, where the law is going to be on the children's side. Which is why I always thought of Russia, because it's like, if Vladdy knows I'm there and I'm building that school, I know that he would have my back, because he'd have the children's back, because him and I have the exact same viewpoint when it comes to making sure that children have a safe, traditional environment to grow up in, that's based on, traditional morals and ethics and that sort of thing. It's just, unfortunately, the Musks, Errol Musk and Elon Musk and that, are all over Russia. And neither of them can be trusted around children. So I just don't know. So I let Jesus take the wheel, and wherever it is I'm meant to go, that's where I'll go. But in the meantime, like, I'm on the precipice of change. I can feel it. And now that I've got my mutant legion starting to jump in on the bandwidth, so to speak, I know that I'm about to be catapulted into my future with people like him by my side. But wherever that's going to be, I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure he's not going to want to immigrate. But I can only go to where he's going if I know that their government isn't going to try and do anything to control the lives of future creative geniuses. So I'm not going to focus on that. So I'll put a link in the description box below. You can see what he was doing at the time I made that video. It's going to blow your mind. But everyone who has an ascension, their gifts are different, their powers are different. So now we have a time jumper and a teleporter. And he is Fraser, and he's modelled after, he was the inspiration for Fraser in my TV series, The Time Jumping Detective, which is our version of Doctor Who. And he's got like George, the detective, has got the fob watch that Fraser can teleport in and out of. You know, like Cortana in Halo. Like sometimes he'll be like an image through the fob watch, like Cortana. And then sometimes if he puts the fob watch down, he can teleport through the fob watch to be a real physical person. So I wanted his character to be French. Anyway, so I'm going to go and have my brekkie. And yeah, the supernatural's real, baby. And now I can prove it in a court of law. But like I said, I'm not giving any names away or anything like that until I know that we get justice, because I have to protect him, because him and I have had to fight tooth and nail to have the little connection that we've been able to manage to have, because there's so many people in his life and a few people in my life who have gone out of their way to make sure that him and I don't connect, or that when we do connect, there's nothing but misunderstandings and sabotage. Because that's how you know that they know how powerful we are together as a union. So imagine when we bring the other mutants in on it. I just have to find them. But they're there because I wrote them in the Quantum Menace years ago. I just have to meet the rest of them. So the Mystic in the Matrix is no longer called the Mystic in the Matrix. He's called Doc. And he doesn't decipher codes, he creates them, he programs them and puts them into the system so that Ben can jump through them and go to where he needs to go. Doc basically guides him to the writers and artists and musicians and scientists and stuff that he needs to go to in the second half of the movie, that directs him to the Shadow Folk and Art Morda and eventually Heracles. So, yeah. So there we go. So from now on, the Mystic in the Matrix is called Doc. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Mwah.